Now that the election is behind us and all the pressure is gone, now we have to look at things going ahead financially in the United States. The United States owes over $35 billion in debt, and an additional $70 billion in unfunded liabilities such as Social Security, Medicare, and etc. Every 100 days, the debt service, which is the money paid in order to pay the interest payments, adds another $1 trillion to the debt. $1 trillion is a 12-digit number. It is a huge number. In the United States, currently right now, there's $1.7 trillion in credit card debt, and a lot is in default. This has never been seen before. There's also $1.9 trillion in student loans. This does not cover state, local, or any other municipality outside the federal government. So how do we measure debt? Debt is measured by the debt to GDP ratio. The GDP is the gross domestic product of all final goods and services produced, less the imports. Okay? That's how, and the debt portion of that, the amount of money you pay in debt, is what is known as the ratio between debt and GDP. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. But how do you measure GDP? First thing is you gotta look at the United States. And well, let's take a step back. Let's look at some of the things that are used in the world of finance when it comes to managing the money. There is something called the federal funds rate. The federal funds rate is important because what it does is the federal funds rate is the rate that one bank charges another so they can have the reserves to open the bank the next morning. The Federal Reserve requires that every night when you close, you have to have a certain amount of reserves to meet demands of the opening bank day. And what happens is banks sometimes lend the other banks money for that specific purpose. There's also something when it comes to economy called CPI, which is a basket of goods of what the consumer buys. That's used to measure how inflation is going. Things that economists look at are the yield curve, which tells you whether people have confidence in the United States in the short term versus the long term. For example, the last few years we've been living with something called a yield curve inversion, where a 2-year Treasury note would have a higher interest rate than a 10-year Treasury bond. What that's telling you is people don't have confidence in keeping their money in American currency for 10 years. They have more confidence in 2 years. That's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing. In general, the younger Americans seem to be, as far as education, going more toward trade schools, which is a good thing, than universities. This is showing up for the first time. Actual college enrollment is dropping. People are realizing that you don't need to get a college degree to make a good living. You can get certified or go to a trade school. Young people are buying crypto like it's going wild. More young people buy crypto than they do by buying stocks. And as time is going on since the election, the interest rates have been coming down, which should be good to help stimulate the economy. And it seems that also things that are going on that might have an effect is the slowdown in China, which has an effect on the entire world. And China just introduced a $115 trillion stimulus into their economy. It will impact the entire world. The Russian economy is suffering from inflation. The problem is fighting that war in Ukraine. A lot of the youth are being commissioned to go out and fight. These are the same people who worked in the Russian economy. So if they're out fighting wars, the amount of people producing Russian goods are dropping. So the economy is suffering severely from that. Also, there's been, back to the United States, recently there's been an adjustment from the Bureau of Labor Statistics about the amount of American jobs created within the last year. The Bureau of Labor Statistics overestimated the amount of jobs created in America by almost 818,000 jobs, which is not a really good thing. So now that we're through with the election, things should change. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and subscribe, and have a great day.